So here comes Madiyar Saydrakhimov. I outlined his credentials earlier and they're impressive. World Championship bronze medalist, an Asian Games silver medalist, a World Military Games gold medalist. That's a very tough competition. Lost his berth in the Uzbek team to Lazizbek Mulajonov, who went on to win medals at the World Championships in 2023 and then of course at the Olympic Games. One fight and one win as a pro. That was in Kuala Lumpur way back in October 2017.
En la esquina negra, in the black corner, representando a los domadores de Cuba, from domadores de Cuba, Julio César La Cruz.
Five-time world champion, two-time Olympic champion, and at his peak, one of the most dominant fighters I've seen. I would put that peak probably at 2013 to 2017. During that period, he was as close to unbeatable, I think, as you can be. Over 3 rounds or the 5 rounds of WSB. Just a sensational fighter, still is now.
Por favor, ponerse de pie para escuchar las notas del himno nacional de Uzbekistán. Please stand for the national anthem of Uzbekistan. Momento de escuchar las notas del himno nacional de Cuba. Moment to listen the national anthem of Cuba. victorias sin derrotas récord, 1 win and 0 losers. En la esquina negra in the black corner, representando a los domadores de Cuba, representing the domadores de Cuba, Julio César La Cruz, 35 años, 35 years old. 2 veces campeón olímpico, 5 veces campeón mundial, 2-time Olympic change, 5-time world champion. Los jueces que actuarán en este combate son the judges that will be acting in this fight are Juez 1, Judge 1, José Romero de España from Spain. Juez 2, Judge 2, Verónica Soc-Hungría from Hungary. Juez 3, Judge 3, Emerson Pastor de Guatemala from Guatemala. El árbitro de este último combate será the referee. The last fight is Luca Badilonga de Italia from Italy.
So touch of gloves, 10 rounds or fewer here between these two, Julio La Cruz and Madiyar Saydrakhimov. A packed arena. Here we go. This for an IBA Pro World title, touch of gloves. And you see the size difference there between them, really. La Cruz is not a natural 92 kilo fighter, but he moved up. They both did, him and Arlen Lopez. They moved up from 75 and 81 to 91, which became 92, and 81, which became 80. Just flicking that jab up from the waist, La Cruz, and then following it in with the right hand, still using those reflexes. He's always relied on them. Gloves low. He'll just lean back at the waist, hinge at the waist, basically, to stay out of trouble. Move side to side. That kind of matrix-like movement, as people like to describe it. That's exactly what he does. He's seemingly there to be hit, but very, very difficult to land on. People have managed it from time to time. Joshua Buatsi put him down in the World Championships in 2015. There was the famous stoppage he suffered against Khalil Ko, which was at a European tournament. I think it might have been the Botch guy from memory. Got knocked down and stopped, and people wondered at that point, were those reflexes just beginning to fade a little bit? Would fighters now be able to catch up with him? It didn't prove to be the case. Saydrakhimov just aiming that right hand and missing with it, and being made to miss. Any fighter will tell you takes gas out of the tank, and that's what La Cruz does to you. Good jab again there from him, up jab, scored. Got through with the right hand there though, Saydrakhimov. Chopping down with it. He's scheduled for 10 rounds, of course. He boxed loads and loads of WSB, La Cruz. 30, 40 fights probably. No knockdown called there. That was a push and a tangle of the feet, I think, more than anything else. And he never had any problem employing his style over 5 rounds. But this is different. This is 10. And what Saydrakhimov must tell himself is that if he can bring some concerted pressure, if he can keep trying to walk him down, be compact, not give anything away, not swing wildly like he did there, and take too much gas out of his own tank, then La Cruz will slow down over the course of the 10 rounds. That's just a good logical thought process. And although he may find himself down at halfway, he can come into it in the second half. Bell goes at the end of the first round. There are those reflexes. Throws a 1-2. It didn't quite get there, but that did. Just a minimal pullback. And then comes back with the right hand. It's the core strength to be able to just pull back like that and then bounce forward. It makes it look very, very easy, but it's far from it. But as I said, Saydrakhimov, what he needs to do is just have a good, solid plan, which will just involve trying to put that pressure onto Cruz. Don't be too distracted by what he's doing. Aim for the chest, shoulders. Head hunting with Cruz is a very, very difficult thing to do. He will make you miss a lot. That right hand into the body there, that's a good shot for Saydrakhimov. Just land on something, feel something on the end of the glove. It will give you confidence. It will knock him off balance, make him offset and start again. Try not to waste too much. Believing that in the second half, he will become easier to hit. Good right hand there from Saydrakhimov. Jabbed his way in there, Cruz, doubled up on the jab, followed it in. The right hand didn't land clean. Combination there, jab, right hand, left hand to the body. And there's that counter right hand, the rueful kind of grin there from Saydrakhimov. He just swings those gloves wide, gathers them, and then takes that front foot forward again. He can't get too worried about things like that. That's going to happen to him. Good right hand into the body there from the Uzbek. And then made to miss wildly with a lead left hand. And there again is that pull back counter right hand. Makes you fall short, pulls back, makes you fall short, then just dips it over the top. Good use of the jab again there from Cruz. He starts around about his knee, that left glove when he throws it. Bursts up into the eye line, which boxers will tell you make it difficult to read. A jab that starts at eye level, you can pick up early. One that starts as low as it does with the Cruz, much more difficult to see coming. That's a great snapshot there. The jab shoots out, travels farther probably than the opponent thinks it's going to, follows it up with a right hand. And then hinges at the waist and pulls back. It's a tough job, this. As I said, for a good spell there, it was the toughest of jobs in world boxing, I would say, amateur or pro. Got to keep believing if you're in there against Cruz. Over this longer format particularly, you have to believe that you can use all 10 rounds. Jabs to the body, Saydrakhimov to start the round off. That is a good shot for him. As I said before, anything that just hits something that causes him maybe to even minimally lose his balance and then reset and start again is a good thing. Just dips his knees there, Saydrakhimov, and sends a right hand into the body. Again, that's Exactly the sort of thing he'll be looking for. Someone like Cruz can break your spirit quite easily. It can be a very demoralising experience boxing him. Good combination there from Cruz. And that's where the mental strength really comes in if you're up against him. You cannot allow that to happen. Good 1-2 again there from him. But it's easier said than done. Again, just pulls back there and makes Saydrakhimov fall short with a long right hand. He's a big man, a tall man, and whips that left hand up. Again, Cruz there, a kind of up jab come screw shot. One of the problems he's got here, Saydrakhimov, is that he just can't get his hands back quick enough. So he jabbed to the body there, and before he could get that left hand back to protect himself, the right hand snuck through and caught him. Everything has got to go out quick and come back quick, or you're better off not throwing it. Cruz just so good at exposing any kind of technical flaw. If you don't take your feet with you, if you don't keep them underneath you, then he will make you fall short and he will counter you. Even if you do, he's still capable of doing it. There's that jab again. Saydrakhimov trying to keep that upper body on the move as he moves forward and then looks for a right-hand lead, but a right-hand lead is a punch that Cruz will see coming from a mile away. So 3 rounds down, 3 rounds put safely in his back pocket here by Julio Cruz. So into the fourth, Julio Cruz in the black, Madiyar Saydrakhimov in the white. Just trying to pin the left glove of Cruz there, Saydrakhimov. The referee just allowing them to work things out for themselves on the inside there. The combination from Cruz finishes on the right hand to the body. Cruz just leading off, looking for the left hand to the body and just backing Saydrakhimov up, and that's not a good look for the Uzbek. He's got to be trying to get that forward momentum himself, try and take the centre. Untidy, this fourth round so far. And you look at Cruz just inching forward there. And he's making his opponent just give that ground. He's just so good at controlling the fight. Saying to the referee that Saydrakhimov was coming in a little bit low with his head there. The jab again works for him, and the lead left hook. Saydrakhimov came over the top of that front foot as he came forward. You get the feeling watching the Cruz down the years that opponents become a bit bamboozled or bewitched by him, hypnotised by him almost. They end up doing what he wants them to do. And that's what's happening here. It's like he can exercise some kind of Jedi mind control. Closing stages of round 4. Aims that right hand, but there's very little to disguise it from Saydrakhimov. That's the problem, and the Cruz just sees it coming from so far away. That it's very unlikely to land. He's almost reluctant to throw, Saydrakhimov. No one's thrown anything in this round, and we've had almost 30 seconds already so far. Eventually he throws that right hand, and the right hand comes straight back from Cruz. Cruz happy to hang out just inside the ropes. Pretty much as soon as he feels that bottom rope on the back of his calf, then he'll look to get away, treating it like an electric fence, if you like. He gets that kind of charge off it and decides, okay, I'm a little bit too close. I don't want to get hemmed in here, but Saydrakhimov just, he's reluctant to commit. Right hand lead from Saydrakhimov, did get through, then followed it up with a left hand to the body. He's having a little bit more success in this round after a tentative start, but I wouldn't say at this point that it's enough necessarily to win the round. We're only halfway through it anyway. But this is better from him. He's on top of Cruz a little bit more, who maybe is just beginning to slow down slightly. When I say slow down, I'm talking about the speed of the reflexes more than anything else. Because that's what he relies on. It's not necessarily his feet, although the feet are a key in making sure you're in the right position so that you can employ that lateral movement that he's so good at. But as the fight goes on, he might just become less effective at leaning back and staying just out of the way of punches. He just slides underneath the left hand there, though, with Saydrakhimov. Again, he's just continuing to bring the heat here to a decent level, and this is what he needs to do. He's not tried to do anything crazy. He misses with the right hand there, but he's just got close enough, and when he's got close enough, after that first 30-45 seconds where he didn't really do too much at all, he's been happy enough to let his hands go. And he could have won that round. So midway through this one, scheduled for 10. But that kind of exchange we're watching there, Saydrakhimov should welcome that, because he is the bigger of the two. Physically, he's the bigger man. And on the inside there, he actually did pretty well. The Cruz doesn't really need to be there. He doesn't really want to be there, not for extended periods, but that's where he found himself for a spell there. And it suited Saydrakhimov more. Good right hand there from the Uzbek. Stepped nice and wide with his lead foot and threw it straight down the middle. I think that previous round, whether he won it or whether he didn't, that should have given him some confidence, because he felt body, shoulder, forearm, glove, head at times on the end of that fist. Nice right hand into the body. Jabs coming back there from the Cruz, doubles up on it, but then Saydrakhimov looks for the right hand on the inside. Right hand was a little bit slappy there from the Cruz. Tries to ride the right hand from Saydrakhimov, but I think it did just half catch him. Nice quick hands there from the Cruz. When he throws that 1-2, often they land in such rapid succession. There's very little avoiding it. Avoiding the right hand there with ease, the Cruz, and then just pivoting off around that front foot in such a narrow, tight circle around his opponent that sometimes you see him trip over the front leg of the opponent. Good jab there from the Cruz. And there's that 1-2 again. The right hand, again, lands mainly with the inside of the glove there, with the palm almost. Up until the midway point of this round, there wasn't really much in it, but in the second half of it, so far, the Cruz has outlanded his opponent quite comprehensively. And there's that rapid 1-2 again. Saydrakhimov just becoming slightly frustrated. I think, having had a better round in the previous round, not really able to follow it up in the sixth. Into the seventh, Cruz is starting things off with a nice snappy jab again. He's in the black. Madiyar, Saydrakhimov in the white. Cruz comfortably ahead here. And he's the kind of fighter who, as a pro, will have to go the distance, will have to box over the duration. The one thing you can say about him if you're up against him, as difficult as it is that he's not a fighter who has enormous power. The way that he throws, he never really sets his feet and turns at the waist into punches a lot of the time, although he got some decent heat on that right hand. Saydrakhimov just there was in a position where he could step in on Cruz, but aimed a rather ambitious lead left hook. That type of punch against someone like him is just so unlikely to work. It's the absolute basics that can work against him, and that was what he did well in that fifth round. Was he got close and just threw just good straight shots, economical shots. And not all that many of them landed clean, very, very few, but he was having enough of an impression that the way it looked was that he was having some success. It's the final minute of the seventh. Right hand into the body, and then the left hand from Saydrakhimov did get through off the back of that right hand into the body, and I don't think that's any great shock. And again, just marauds forward with a right hand lead there. Which, as I've said before, is ambitious in the extreme. Good right hand from Cruz, well timed. Being made to fall fractionally short there twice. First with the 1-2 and then with the left hook, and that a good snapshot of what it's like boxing Cruz. Sometimes he makes you look like you've missed wildly by huge distances, when actually the opponent's not done all that much wrong. With the 1-2 there, Saydrakhimov did reach for it. He does have a tendency to do that. He did it there. He'll tend to chase it in a bit. He really wants it to land, so he ends up coming over the top of that front foot, which against someone like Cruz is fatal, really. If it's not going to get there, then you just let it fall short against him and you just get those gloves back as quick as you can. Because if you do chase it in, then he will make you pay for it. Cruz is ranked at number 3 with the WBA at bridgerweight. Muslim Gadjimagomedov won the WBA belt in Superkov in Russia recently. Bridgerweight goes up as far as 225 pounds. 92 kilos is about 202. So you'd see that division, well, I would at least, as being too big for him. But you just never know, because with the skill set that he's got, the ability he has to make people miss, and the fact that he's still able to do it like this over the course of 10 rounds is impressive, because this fast twitch kind of style, it's physically very, very demanding. And the theory that people did have about him from a long time ago was that he would struggle in professional boxing because of the duration of the contests. Now, we haven't seen him up against top-level opposition yet. But as with everything that he's done during the course of his career, he is not somebody you would ever, with any confidence, find yourself betting against. Bit of blood coming from the left eye there of Saydrakhimov. Maybe a little clash of heads, could have been a punch. There's a touch of swelling there as well, just on that cheekbone, on that left cheekbone. Just trying to see exactly where the blood's coming from, actually. I think it is just a nick on the corner of the eye rather than some damage on the cheekbone itself. He's just dabbing at it there. We've seen a few cuts tonight. There goes the bell at the end of round 8. So 2 to go. This is the final fight of the night. Final fight on what has been a spectacular card. Cuban legends, old and new, adorning it from top to bottom. At a historic venue on International Boxing Day, it doesn't get too much better. There's that jab again from Cruz, just flicking it up from the waist. Just so rapid, that 1-2. That time the jab goes to the body and then the right hand up to the head. But the amount of time between the lead left hand landing and that right hand landing would be a split second, a fraction of a second. Right hand there from Saydrakhimov, I think got through. The crowd, I think, just want a little bit more from the Cruz here in the final stages. Minute 20 remaining in round 9. I think they'd like to see him just put on a little bit of a show towards the end here. A tangle of feet, and that's an example of what I was talking about earlier. He turns around that front foot. It's such a tight semicircle or circle almost at times that the front legs end up clashing and down he goes. That's something that happens relatively regularly with him if you watch him often enough. Team the Cruz have been on their feet over on the far side of the ring right from the very start of the contest. No one's telling them to sit down over on the far side of the ring. Bronze medalists from the 1974 World Championships that were held in this venue. But again, there's that movement, and that's round number 9. A left hand there from Saydrakhimov did land on him, but still that upper body movement, that lateral movement is just on point. So the 10th and final round coming up. This is for the IBA Pro World title at 92 kilos. And Saydrakhimov has stuck to his task here. I outlined early on how he might choose to try and go about this if he had the tools to do it, and it has turned out that he hasn't quite. You need to be compact. You need to keep your feet underneath you against the Cruz. You need to throw those straight punches as much as you can. Aim for the chest, aim for the shoulders, be patient. Don't get frustrated. You have to be mentally very resolute and have a very solid skill set and a real engine as well. And those are not things that are easy to find in combination. In short, you have to be very good. I think I would probably give Saydrakhimov 1 round, that 5th round. And even then, it's a question of trying to work out whether he actually did win that round or whether that was just his best round. And there's a difference. It's quite easy sometimes to get suckered into giving a round to a fighter because it's the best one they've had, when in fact they haven't really won it. There's that rapid 1-2 again. The distraction of the lead hand. Means that the follow-up, the right hand, lands so regularly. Look at that right hand lead again there, Saydrakhimov, and as I've said a few times, throwing that kind of unorthodox punch is a very difficult thing to do against an opponent like this. And the Cruz that time goes down to the body with the left hand. These done very little bodywork in this fight. Almost everything he's thrown has been up to the head. When he has looked to go to the body, it's been more just a touch. And then land that right to the head, a distraction as I described it earlier in the round. Into the final 30 seconds or so. Well, the clock's been a little slow, I think, on screen at times tonight. We're into the final 10 seconds as it turns out. A little bit dancing here from Cruz. There goes the bell. And that is a win for the Cuban and a clean sweep for Cuba tonight for the Cuba Domadors, which doesn't come as a great surprise. And the Cruz looked like he could have done a few more rounds of that. We'll get the announcement shortly, but he will be declared the new IBA professional world champion at 92 kilos. Another title to add to the groaning trophy cabinet. It gave it everything he had in there, Madiyar Saydrakhimov, but he was just up against a better fighter, a more skillful fighter, and that's sport, it happens. And when it does happen, there's not all that much you can do about it. A lot of people have found that to be the case against Julio Cruz over the course of the last almost 15 years. Talking to people outside the ring there, Cruz. As I say, Team Cruz have been on their feet over on the far side right from the very start of the fight.
La decisión del último combate de la noche. The decision in the last fight of IBA Grade 9 Champions. El ganador del título mundial de los cruceros, the winner cruiserweight IBA World Champion. Por votación unánime. The unanimous decision. En la esquina negra, in the black corner. De los domadores de Cuba, from domadores de Cuba, Julio César Cruz.
And as expected, Cruz announced as the winner by unanimous decision, and the IBA professional world champion at 92 kilos. And that rounds off a clean sweep for the Cuba Domadors tonight. Wins for Cyril Horta, Lazaro Alvarez, Erislandy Alvarez, Roniel Iglesias, Alan Lopez, and now Julio Cruz. An absolute pleasure to see them all on the same card. They boxed together on the same card. Iglesias, Lopez, La Cruz, and Lazaro Alvarez many, many times. But I do wonder whether we will see them all on the same card, on the same team again. It could happen, but it could be that this is a collector's item, and very appropriate given that it's International Boxing Day and we are back at the venue where it all started in 1974 with the very first IBA World Championships. He's won 5 of the 81 gold medals Cuba have scooped at the World Championships, which is a sensational haul. 4 Olympic champions with 7 Olympic gold medals between them tonight on the card too. It's been a star-studded occasion.
Esperamos la hayan disfrutado. Gracias por estar con nosotros. This way, this wonderful night of champion ends. Full of emotion, great fights, and love for boxing. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, well, thanks very much for your company this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it too. We will leave you with some highlights of that final fight. Stay well, everybody. We'll catch up with you again next time.